Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, ladies and gentlemen, Commodity TV here for you, and now we are at the Uranium Gold booth, and with me here is for the first time Uranium Royalty, which went just new IPO'd on the exchange here in Toronto on the, I think 11th December it was, and with me here is Scott Melby, the CEO. Scott, great to see you again.
Thank you, Johan. It's great to see you and be here in Vancouver. This is a great show, and it's always good to speak with you and your viewers.
Thank you, and also great for giving us the opportunity to talk about the first uranium royalty company.
Sure.
How did you come on that idea?
Yeah, it's not a unique idea. We basically looked at the huge success that royalty and streaming companies have achieved in base and precious metals. These would be companies like Wheaton Precious Metals, Sandstorm, Franco-Nevada, Osisko, Royal Gold have achieved huge success in business models around royalty and streaming. It's a $40 billion industry in base and precious metals. So we just realized that our industry, which actually needs alternative sources of financing given the difficult market conditions, it's a perfect fit for royalties and streaming. We're the first mover in that space, and we were very excited to complete the IPO in December. It was the largest mining IPO in Canada last year. So we're off and running now, and now very actively looking to grow the portfolio.
Fantastic. Okay, so the idea is absolutely clear, because I wouldn't say you copied, but royalty is a royalty, right? So there's nothing what you can say about. So where do you find the uranium royalty companies you want to invest in? Because I think the universe is quite small now, right?
Yeah, so we have two sources of royalties that can end up in our portfolio. Those are royalties that already exist, that might be landowners, they might be merger acquisition hangovers from previous deals, but we will go and we'll provide a secondary market for sellers of those royalties. For example, Rough Rider is a huge deposit in the Athabasca Basin of Saskatchewan. It was a $610 million bidding war over that asset between Rio Tinto and Cameco. Rio Tinto ended up winning out on that, but we went to not Rio Tinto, but to the underlying royalty owners, 75, and cobbled them all together, and now have a 1.97% NSR royalty on Rough Rider. So that's an example of an existing royalty we acquired. We also can provide alternative financing to developers and producers who need 10, 15, 25 or $1 million or more to go into production, but they're at maybe a 5-year, 10-year low in their stock price. Equity dilution is not an option for them. Debt windows might not be open for them right now. So suddenly the royalty and streaming alternative is their best alternative to finance at this stage in the market. So it's a very good time for us. It's a great model, but it's also a very good time given how difficult the uranium market has been.
Okay, fantastic. So how large are your financial resources now?
Yeah, so we have $40 million in cash and marketable securities. The IPO was oversubscribed, so we have a good war chest behind us, and we're very busy now that the IPO is done. It's all due diligence and really working actively to add new royalties into the mix. Now, uranium space is a little bit more challenging than gold and copper, where there's a lot more near-term assets. We frankly don't want to encourage too much production too soon, because the rebalancing of the market is really healthy for future prices. But there are a number of projects that need to come on within the next 5 years, which we're well within the development timeline for those. We're really eager to take interest in those and bring them in as counterparties. So we recognize shareholders are going to want near-term cash flow. We have an eye to that. We have bought the Yellowcake interest, is the physical commodity fund out of London. We're the largest shareholder, 19% interest, and that gives leverage to early investors into very low uranium prices today. Future royalties will be leveraged to future prices.
Okay, so if I understand that correct, through buying into the Yellowcake fund, I would call it, you are able, let's say, to benefit immediately from higher uranium prices.
Yes.
it's like, yeah, let's call it a speculation on higher prices. You buy today, what, $25, $26? Let's assume we go quite fast to 50. You are happy, and then you have, again, more ammunition to really move the needle here.
Yeah, so we were a foundational shareholder in the IPO launch summer before last. And when that was launched, we essentially bought a significant interest into their stockpile of $20 uranium was the prevailing price at the time. So every dollar that the spot price increases, the value of our yellowcake holdings go up and the value of the URC.
So Scott, how many pounds do you own in that yellowcake fund, and how large is it?
Yes, so the yellowcake fund owns now about 9.2 million pounds in the fund, and we have about a 19% shareholding in yellowcake. So effectively have ownership in those pounds at a very low price.
Yeah, but that's a nice upside potential.
Yeah, it is, and we want to be careful too in that we are a royalty and streaming company. That's where the real multiples. We acquire assets at a discount to NAV. Our cost of money, we're trading at a premium to NAV. So we use that low cost of money to acquire royalties and streams. We don't want to be too heavily focused on physical, but it's a very nice complement, especially at this point in the cycle.
So how high are the royalties normally you are doing? Is it like, can we compare it like with the gold sector, that we talk about 1%, 2%, maybe 3% royalty? Is it like the same thing?
Yeah, every
commodity.
project is different. Every project has a different risk return profile. Yeah. Some are going to be producing sooner rather than later. We have to take the time value of money, obviously. We're putting up money today for the promise of either uranium or royalties down the road. So every project will be a little bit different, but it could be a 0.5% interest in one project. It could be a 4.5%, 5% interest in another.
Of course. Super. When do you expect, let's say, a significant cash flow out of that?
Yeah. So we it's not that we're going to be without. I mean, we have certain acquisitions that are cash flowing even now. We'll have news on that shortly. But we recognize that uranium's not going to be the huge near-term cash flow. So we've tried to structure the yellowcake investment, and some of the new deals that we're doing were quite innovative in structure to give some interim cash flow even before the project's fully into production. So again, we're taking a lot of the best practices from base and precious metals, applying them to our unique uranium industry.
So we can describe your company like as a let's say, secure leverage on uranium for the future.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, for developers, it's a source of alternative finance.
Exactly.
For investors, it's a diversified play into uranium, where you're not just putting all your eggs in one company or one operation. Eventually, we're going to have a very large portfolio where the risk is spread amongst not only multiple projects, but multiple geography, mining types, the whole works. So we're very excited. We're off and running in 2020. We're very busy on growing that portfolio.
Super.
So hope to have a lot of good news in the coming year.
All right. Scott, then, thank you very much. It looks like a really good game plan to me.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure we hear a lot more good news from you guys this year.
Absolutely. Thank you, Johan.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it was Scott Melby, the CEO of Uranium Royalty Corporation. And you heard it, this is the first uranium royalty company really in the world here. Went live 11th December, and the guys are hyper active, and I have no doubt that Scott and the team will do here an excellent job like they did in the past also. And I think it's a great approach, to be honest, when you want to invest in the uranium space, that you go into royalty, because you are getting a portfolio, of course. You have not only all eggs in one basket, as Scott used to say, and that's correct. And so I would suggest really check out the company. Great thing. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Vancouver.
Thank you.